Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The beginning of hypocrisy. The revelations about the characteristics of the hypocrites were revealed in Al Madinah. This is because there were no hypocrites in Makkah. Rather, the opposite was the situation in Makkah, since some people were forced to pretend that they were disbelievers while their hearts concealed their faith. Afterwards, the Messenger of Allah migrated to Al Madinah, where the Ansar from the tribes of Awas and Khazraj resided. They used to worship idols during the pre Islamic period of ignorance, just as the rest of the Arab idolaters. Three Jewish tribes resided in Al Madinah: Banu Kahinuka, allies of Al Hazraj, Banu An Nadir, and Banu Qarzia, allies of the Aus. Many members of the Aus and Hazraj tribes embraced Islam. However, only a few Jews embraced Islam, such as Abdullah bin Salam. During the early stage in Al Madinah, there were not any hypocrites because the Muslims were not strong enough to be feared yet. On the contrary, the Messenger of Allah conducted peace treaties with the Jews and several other Arab tribes around Al Madinah. Soon after, the Battle of Badr occurred and Allah gave victory to Islam and its people. Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul was a leader in Al Madinah. He was Al Hazraj's chief, and during the period of Jahiliyyah, he was the master of both tribes, Awas and Khazraj. They were about to appoint him their king when the message reached Al Madinah, and many in Al Madinah embraced Islam. Ibn Salul's heart was filled with hatred against Islam and its people. When the battle of Badr took place, he said, Allah's religion has become apparent. So he pretended to be Muslim, along with many of those who were just like him, as well as many among the people of the book. It was then that hypocrisy began in Al Madinah and among the surrounding nomad tribes. As for the emigrants, none of them were hypocrites since they emigrated willingly, seeking the pleasure of Allah. Rather, when a Muslim would emigrate from Makkah, he would be forced to abandon all of his wealth, offspring, and land. He would do so seeking Allah's reward in the hereafter. The tafsir of ayat: Allah said, and of mankind there are some who say who we believe in Allah and the last day, while in fact they do not believe. Muhammad bin Ishaq narrated that Ibn Abbas said that this refers to the hypocrites among the Aws and Khazraj and those who behaved as they did. This is how Abu al-Aliyah, al-Hasan, Qatada and as-Sudi explained this ayat. Allah revealed the characteristics of the hypocrites so that the believers would not be deceived by their outer appearance, thus saving the believers from a great evil. Otherwise, the believers might think that the hypocrites were believers, when in reality they are disbelievers. To consider the sinners as the righteous people is extremely dangerous. Allah said, and of mankind there are some who say, we believe in Allah and the last day, while in fact they do not believe, meaning they utter these false statements only with their tongues, just as Allah said. When the hypocrites come to you, O Muhammad, they say, we bear witness that you are indeed the messenger of Allah. Allah knows that you are indeed His messenger. This ayat means that the hypocrites utter these statements only when they meet you, not because they actually believe what they are saying. The hypocrites emphasize their belief in Allah and the last day with their words, when that is not the case in reality. Therefore, Allah stated that the hypocrites lie in their testimony of creed when He said, "And Allah bears witness that the hypocrites are indeed liars, while in fact they believe not." Allah said, "They try to deceive Allah and those who believe." The hypocrites show belief outwardly while concealing disbelief. They think that by doing this they will mislead Allah, or that the statements they utter will help them with Allah. And this is an indication of their total ignorance. They think that such behavior will deceive Allah just as it might deceive some of the believers. Similarly, Allah said, "On the day when Allah will resurrect them all together, then they will swear to Him as they swear to you, and they think that they have something to stand upon. Verily, they are liars." Hence, Allah refuted their way by saying, "While they only deceive themselves and perceive it not." Allah stated that the hypocrites only deceive themselves by this behavior, although they are unaware of this fact. Allah also said, "Verily the hypocrites try to deceive Allah, but it is He who deceives them." Also, Ibn Abi Khatim narrated that Ibn Jurayj commented on Allah's statement, "The hypocrites pronounce, 'There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah,' seeking to ensure the sanctity of their blood and money, all the while concealing disbelief." Allah's statement, "And of mankind there are some who say, 'We believe in Allah and the last day,' while in fact they believe not. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe, while they only deceive themselves and perceive it not." Said said that Qatada commented, "This is the description of a hypocrite. He is devious. He says the truth with his tongue and defies it with his heart and deeds. He wakes up in a condition other than the one he goes to sleep in, and goes to sleep in a different condition than the one he wakes up in. He changes his mind just like a ship that moves about whenever a wind blows. In their hearts is a disease, and Allah has increased their disease. A painful torment is theirs because they used to tell lies." The meaning of disease in this ayat. Allah said, "In their hearts is a disease, and Allah has increased their disease. A painful torment is theirs, because they used to tell lies." As-Sudi narrated from Abu Malik and also from Abu Salih from Ibn Abbas and also Murha al-Hamdani from Ibn Masud and other companions that this ayat, "In their hearts is a disease," means doubt, and "Allah has increased their disease" also means doubt. Mujahid, Ikrimah, Al-Hassan al-Basri, Abu al-Aliyya, Al-Rabi bin Anas and Qatada also said similarly. Abdul Rahman bin Zaid bin Aslam commented on, "In their hearts is a disease in the religion, not a physical disease. They are the hypocrites, and the disease is the doubt that they brought to Islam. And Allah has increased their disease," meaning increased them in shameful behavior. He also recited, "As for those who believe, it has increased their faith, and they rejoice. But as for those in whose heart is a disease, it will add disgrace to their disgrace." And commented, "Evil to their evil, and deviation to their deviation." This statement by Abdul Rahman is true, and it constitutes a punishment that it is compatible to the sign, just as the earlier scholars stated. Similarly, Allah said, while as for those who accept guidance, He increases their guidance and grants them their piety. Allah said next, because they used to tell lies. The hypocrites have two characteristics: they lie and they deny the unseen. The scholars who stated that the Prophet knew the hypocrites of his time have only the hadith of Hudayfa bin al Yaman as evidence. In it, the Prophet gave him the names of 14 hypocrites during the Battle of Tabuk. These hypocrites plotted to assassinate the Prophet during the night on a hill in that area. They planned to excite the Prophet's camel so that she would throw him down the hill. Allah informed the Prophet about their plot, and the Prophet told Hudayfa their names. As for the other hypocrites, Allah said about them, and among the Bedouins around you, some are hypocrites, and so are some among the people of Al Madinah who persist in hypocrisy. You, O Muhammad, know them not, we know them. If the hypocrites and those in whose heart is a disease and those who spread false news among the people in Al Madinah do not cease, we shall certainly let you overpower them. Then they will not be able to stay in it as your neighbors but a little while. Accursed, they shall be seized wherever found and killed with a terrible slaughter. These ayat prove that the Prophet was not informed about each and every one among the hypocrites of his time. Rather, the Prophet was only informed about their characteristics, and he used to assume that some people possessed these characteristics. Similarly, Allah said, had we willed, we could have shown them to you, and you should have known them by their marks. But surely you will know them by the tone of their speech. The most notorious hypocrite at that time was Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul. Zaid bin Arqam, the companion, gave truthful testimony to that effect. In addition, Umar bin al Khattab once mentioned the matter of Ibn Salul to the Prophet, who said, I would not like the Arabs to say to each other that Muhammad is killing his companions. Yet, when Ibn Salul died, the Prophet performed the funeral prayer for him and attended his funeral just as he used to do with other Muslims. It was recorded in the Sahih that the Prophet said, I was given the choice to pray for him or not, so I chose. In another narration, the Prophet said, if I knew that by asking Allah to forgive Ibn Salul more than 70 times that he would forgive him, then I would do that. And when it is said to them, do not make mischief on the earth, they say, we are only pacemakers. Verily, they are the ones who make mischief, but they perceive not. Meaning of mischief. Allah said, and when it is said to them, do not make mischief on the earth, they say, we are only peacemakers. In his Tafsir, As-Sudi said that Ibn Abbas and Ibn Masud commented, they are the hypocrites. As for do not make mischief on the earth, that is disbelief and acts of disobedience. Abu Jafar said that Ar-Rabi bin Anas said that Abu al-Aliyah said that Allah's statement, and when it is said to them, do not make mischief on the earth, means do not commit acts of disobedience on the earth. Their mischief is disobeying Allah. Because whoever disobeys Allah on the earth or commands that Allah be disobeyed, he has committed mischief on the earth. Peace on both the earth and in the heavens is ensured and earned through obedience to Allah. Al-Rabi bin Anas and Qatada said similarly. Types of mischief that the hypocrites commit. Ibn Jarir said, the hypocrites commit mischief on earth by disobeying their Lord on it and continuing in the prohibited acts. They also abandon what Allah made obligatory and doubt His religion, even though He does not accept a deed from anyone except with faith in His religion and certainty of its truth. The hypocrites also lie to the believers by saying contrary to the doubt and hesitation their hearts harbor. They give as much aid as they can against Allah's loyal friends and support those who deny Allah, His books, and His messengers. This is how the hypocrites commit mischief on earth, while thinking that they are doing righteous work on earth. The statement by Ibn Jarir is true. Taking the disbelievers as the friends is one of the categories of mischief on the earth. Allah said, and those who disbelieve are allies of one another. If you do not do this, help each other, there will be turmoil and oppression on the earth and great mischief. In this way, Allah served the loyalty between the believers and the disbelievers. Similarly, Allah said, O you who believe, do not take disbelievers as awliya, protectors or helpers or friends instead of believers. Do you wish to offer Allah a manifest proof against yourselves? Allah then said, verily the hypocrites will be in the lowest depth of the fire, no helper will you find for them. Since the outward appearance of the hypocrite displays belief, he confuses the true believers. Hence, the deceitful behavior of the hypocrites is an act of mischief because they deceive believers by claiming what they do not believe in and because they give support and loyalty to the disbelievers against the believers. If the hypocrite remains a delivered rather than pretending to be Muslim, the evil that results from him would be less. Even better, if the hypocrite becomes sincere with Allah and makes the statement that he utters conform to his deeds, he will gain success. Allah said, and when it is said to them, do not make mischief on the earth, they say, we are only peacemakers. Meaning, we seek to be friends with both parties, the believers and the disbelievers, and to have peace with both parties. Similarly, Muhammad bin Ishaq reported that Ibn Abbas commented on Allah's statement means we seek to make amends between the believers and the people of book. Allah said, verily, they are the ones who make mischief, but they perceive not. This ayat means that the hypocrites' behavior and their claim that it is for peace is itself mischief, although in their ignorance they do not see it to be mischief. And when it is said to them, believe as the people believe, they say, shall we believe as the fools have believed? Verily they are the fools, but they do not know. Allah tells, and when it is said to them, Allah said that if the hypocrites are told, believe as the people believe, meaning believe just as the believers believe in Allah, His angel, His books, His messengers, resurrection after death, paradise and hellfire, etc., and obey Allah and His messenger by heeding the commandments and avoiding the prohibitions. Yet the hypocrites answer by saying, shall we believe as the fools have believed? They made, may Allah curse the hypocrites, the companions of the messenger of Allah. This is the same tafsir given by Abu al-Alayya and As-Sudi in his tafsir when a chain of narration to Ibn Abbas, Ibn Masud and other companions. This is also the tafsir of Ar-Rabi bin Anas and Abdul Rahman bin Zain bin Aslam. The hypocrites said, us and them have the same status, following the same path while they are fools. The fool is the ignorant, simple minded person who has little knowledge in areas of benefit and harm. This is why, according to the majority of the scholars, Allah used the term foolish to include children when He said, and do not give your property which Allah has made a means of support for you to the foolish. Allah answered the hypocrites in all of these instances. For instance, Allah said here, verily, they are the fools. Allah thus affirmed that the hypocrites are indeed the fools. Yet, but they know not. Since they are so thoroughly ignorant, the hypocrites are unaware of their degree of deviation and ignorance, and such situation is more dangerous, a severer case of blindness and further from the truth than one who is aware. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their shaitan devils, they say, truly we are with you. Verily we were but mocking. Allah mocks at them and leaves them increasing in their deviation to wander blindly. The hypocrites cunning and deceit. Allah said, and when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. Allah said that when the hypocrites meet the believers, they proclaim their faith and pretend to be believers, loyalists, and friends. They do this to misdirect, mislead, and deceive the believers. The hypocrites also want to have a share of the benefits and gains that the believers might possibly acquire. Yet, but when they are alone with their shaitan, meaning if they are alone with their devils, such as their leaders and masters among the rabbis of the Jews, hypocrites, and idolaters, human and jinn devils. Ibn Jarir said, the devils of every creation are the mischievous among them. They are both human devils and jinn devils. Allah said, and so we have appointed for every prophet enemies, shayateen devils among mankind and jinn, inspiring one another with adorned speech as a delusion or by way of deception. The meaning of mocking. Allah said, they say, truly we are with you. Muhammad bin Ishaq reported that Ibn Abbas said that the ayah means, we are with you. Verily we were but mocking, meaning we only mock people, the believers, and deceive them. Verily we were but mocking. Ad-Dhak said that Ibn Abbas said that this ayat means, we, meaning the hypocrites, were mocking the companions of Muhammad. Also, Ar-Rabi bin Anas and Qatada said similarly. Allah's statement, Allah mocks at them and leaves them increasing in their deviation to wander blindly, answers the hypocrites and punishes them for their behavior. Ibn Jarir commented, Allah mentioned what he will do them on the day of resurrection when he said, on the day when the hypocrites, men and women, will say to the believers, wait for us, let us get something from your light. It will be said, go back to your rear, then seek a light. So a wall will be put up between them with the gate therein. Inside it will be mercy, and outside it will be torment. And let not the disbelievers think that our postponing of their punishment is good for them. We postpone the punishment only so that they may increase in sinfulness. He then said, this and its like is Allah's mockery of the hypocrites and the people of Shirk. The hypocrites suffering for their plots. Allah stated that He will punish the hypocrites for their mockery, using the same terms to describe both the deed and its punishment, although the meaning is different. Similarly, Allah said, the recompense for an offense is an offense equal to it. But whoever forgives and makes reconciliation, his reward is with Allah. And then whoever transgresses the prohibition against you, transgress likewise against him. The first act is an act of injustice, while the second act is an act of justice. So both actions carry the same name while being different in reality. This is how the scholars explain deceit, cunning, and mocking when attributed to Allah in the Quran. Surely Allah exacts revenge for certain evil acts with a punishment that is similar in nature to the act itself. We should affirm here that Allah does not do these things out of joyful play according to the consensus of the scholars, but as a just form of punishment for certain evil acts.